What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Caleb, Gill, Drew Nelson, Cam Braun with the cam on. Holy crap. Is it free agency or what? My gosh. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Welcome to Party Chat Sports. I'm excited. There's a lot of interesting and fun things to talk about. The NFL is giving us that little adrenaline rush this week. A lot of free agency signings, a lot of activity, and we're going to talk about as much as we want to talk about because, well, for starters, it's our show. So we're going to talk about what we want to talk about. But also, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to mention. Signings, trades, things that thought was going to happen but didn't happen. Some of us are happy with the things our teams have done. Some of us may not be. Some of us are just kind of in the middle, like, all right, let's get to 2027. But let's have some fun here tonight, boys. Let's go. I'm in a good mood.
You got to start it off with the Max
I was excited. I was excited for some other teams who did things.
Yeah, I'm just excited because there's football activity. Like there's something. It's a little shot to the system, like whoo, little rush.
But it's also disappointing because it's for some people, it's the same thing year in and year out.
Hey, some of us are all-season champs every year. Okay, this off-season champs. Okay, this is the only thing we have to
free agency thinking, all right, here we go, getting some guys, come help build the team, and then psych, actually, we decide that we're all out of money. So
yeah,
but a lot of things did happen, and I'm obviously talking about the Cowboys because they're doing very strange things that don't seem to add up
as Cowboys.
So that's what they do. So
well,
one of which will this kind of ties into one of the main topics. But the Cowboys being a contender for Max Crosby, reportedly sitting at supposedly an offer of a first-round pick and a second-round pick next year. That was interesting. That was like, okay, maybe something's going on here. Maybe something will be different, right? And so obviously we'll talk about the Max Crosby thing in a second here, but the Cowboys went from having that trade on the table to a future fourth for Rashawn Gary, and we'll pack it up and call it a day. So, they were on a crazy, like, hey, we're about to make this crazy move. Like, we're taking a chance. We're going for it. To actually, hold on a second. Let's slow down a second. So, yeah, and obviously a lot to talk about with Max Crosby, and I'll probably talk about the Cowboys some more later. But.
Yeah, let's get into the Max Crosby thing. So obviously at this point, everybody knows Max Crosby's supposed to be a Raven, and then the Ravens got buyer's remorse. They got the physical, even though everybody knew he was hurt. Everybody knew his knee was injured. Everybody knew that it was going to take a couple months for it to be fully healthy. Everybody seemingly knew all this. But then they finally looked at the physical. They looked at it in hand. And it's like, you know what? This is so real now. Maybe we just, pretend this didn't happen. Maybe we just send that, hey, sorry, I was drunk at 2 a.m. text, and we just forget about this. And don't tell your friends. That sort of thing. And the entire world.
It was a super scumbag move, honestly.
Yes! And the fact that
scumbag move.
What makes it even scummier is the fact that Trey Hendrickson is a Raven today. Not even 12 hours removed from the Raiders putting out the tweet of they backed out. Not even 12 hours. We essentially woke up this morning to Trey Hendrickson is going to be a Raven.
That did come with the reports of the Ravens staff not taking the physical as serious as they probably should have. But that also could come with Hendrickson is ready to be a Raven. So I
broke my pen.
It's a little bit of everything right there.
What was that you just did?
No.
Supposedly they were conversing with Trey Hendrickson while Max Crosby was still in their building.
And that's the other thing.
That just complete scumbaggery from the Ravens. And I will say that the physical that was probably his knee probably was worse than they were hoping for. I don't doubt that that's true, but just the whole way they went about it is just it's a tough look, and I think they will struggle to find other trade partners in the near future.
And the other thing too is usually whenever you work out a trade, you get the physical quick. Like, I know it's not official, but teams like the Raiders, I mean, Max Crosby was in the Ravens building before the NFL league year officially started. So you could get physicals done by the team before the league year started. Why did they wait so long before getting his physical done? Like, this could have been wrapped up. You could have had an idea before everybody started signing contracts. But no, you waited for the physical, and then you saw that Trey Hendrickson was still out there and decided, you know what, we're going to go get him. We're going to get our first-round pick back this year. We're going to get our first-round pick back for next year. We're going to get a pass rusher, star pass rusher, that's market isn't as high as everybody thought it would be. And we're going to get him for less than $30 million a year.
I mean, it's smart in a sense, but you did agree to a certain term and a certain trade.
You agreed.
That's the biggest thing that's happening right now. You agreed to certain aspects of a trade. You said you wanted this guy. This is our guy. We're going to give up this much for him. But this other guy said, you know what? I'll sign for what you want. That's the problem.
And the domino effects of everything else. So, the Cowboys, prime example. They thought Max Crosby was going to be a Raven. They thought they were out of the Max Crosby sweepstakes like the other 30 teams did. And they thought, all right, now we move on to plan B. And then they worked out a deal with Rashawn Gary. Well, they can't back out of that because that's going to look bad whenever they're working with that agent again. If they try backing out of that to get back into the Crosby sweepstakes. All these other teams that have handed out contracts. The Raiders handed out so much money. And now they have to have Max Crosby back on the books, something that they weren't accounting for. It just impacts everybody.
Supposedly the
281 million.
Cowboys, our in-house surgeon who does a lot of knee surgeries and other things around the league for other teams, did the physical on Crosby, and that's why we were also out the second time, is what I heard. So that's where I say, I don't doubt that his knee is worse than they had thought.
Right.
I don't think it's not disintegrated.
No, but he's also just how far away removed from the surgery. I don't think it's
it's not a secret that he had surgery. I'm just saying,
He's
it
not
probably
gonna be
is
100%.
worse. It probably is worse than where you would hope he's at. But to back out of a deal that you already made, knowing that he had knee surgery, it's still just a tough look.
And you alluded to one thing that I kept hearing this morning. I had NFL Network on, Good Morning Football was talking about this, Tom Pelissero and Rappaport were talking about how this is going to hurt the Ravens when talking to other GMs about trades and other agents when working out deals with free agents. It's going to prevent big name. I think Tom Pelissero said there was at least one big name agent who works with other players that's going to be reluctant to work with the Ravens again in the future.
I think especially during a period like legal tampering where nothing's official.
Yeah.
It's all just you're taking it on trust and someone's word.
Yeah. This isn't the first time.
None of those players on Monday and Tuesday were actually signed to any deal. Technically the players and the teams could have backed out at any time, but obviously that doesn't happen very often because, there's a business element where, you agree to a deal, both sides agree, and you see it through. So I don't know, scumbag move, but now it's interesting to see what will happen with Crosby. I mean, the relationship between him and the Raiders has just got to be awful.
It does seem.
We'll see
he was
what
back
happens.
to the facility at 6 a.m. this morning. And it was Crosby who essentially was trying to force that trade out. So you had all those years of losing. I understand Crosby wanting out. He finally wants to win, and the Ravens were a prime spot. But I think new coaching staff in place. This is a better situation than what Myles Garrett got when he came back to the Browns after saying, "I'm never going to play for the Browns again. I want to play for a winning quarterback," and then signed with the team that was fielding Deshaun Watson. It's a better situation than that, I would think. Raiders do be Raiders, though. Maybe the Raiders, I mean, in theory, you could potentially work that out, and that's going to be the corporate stance from Vegas is we're going to try working this out until we get the deal we want. Like, they're not going to be pressed to trade him immediately.
I do think they're just going to try to get the best possible scenario for Mendoza. You're getting Mendoza, pick one. You want to get him a weapon. You need a guy that he's going to be able to work with from day one. Mm-hmm. That's why they're trying to get Crosby out, but you're also trying to get more. So, like, you could get, like the Ravens gave you, you get to pick next year and this year. That is the whole thing that the Raiders are trying to do. I think they're over Crosby, but Crosby is over the Raiders, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Crosby's done. He's been done. And that's why those rumors, like, is he actually hurt or is he just protecting himself for free agency? On the Mendoza thing, and that's why the Ravens offer was so attractive. Because I saw some rumors, I don't know how true it is, but I saw some rumors that the Bears essentially offered the same package, like the 2 first-round draft picks. And that's why I kept mentioning the Bears in the chat yesterday, because I had seen that the Bears had offered similar. But the Ravens pick was pick 14. And that's, like, right in that window when you look at, like, mock drafts and where potential receivers are going. That could be right around where Mekhi Lemon goes. Like, you can get Tate might already be gone. I don't know who's all going to be there. But you're looking at pick 14. It's like, all right, we got ahead of the Jets, who might be trying to get a wide receiver at 16. That's a good spot to be in if you're trying to get a wide receiver. And it's a higher draft pick in general. So having that Ravens pick would have been so nice for the Raiders because of where it's at. And now they don't have it.
You're not getting better than 14 at this point.
Who is...
Could have had 12.
So the one thing I saw that I thought would be funny, what if the Bengals decide, you know what? What if we want him? We just lost our pass rusher. I know we don't pay anybody except for offensive players, but...
Yeah, the only thing with that is the Bengals are poverty.
That's what I'm saying. They're poor. Unless the Chiefs...
If they weren't the AFC Cowboys, then maybe.
I mean, unless the Chiefs... I mean, I know pick 9... I've seen some mock drafts where, like, could Ruben Bain fall to 9? Maybe the Chiefs give up pick 9. I'm just looking to see, like, who else... Nobody else really is in a good spot to... Max Crosby would be too much of a luxury for these other teams, like the Cardinals, the Titans, the Giants, Browns. A lot of these other teams, maybe the Rams give up pick 13. They just traded a pick for the corner. What's his name?
Trent McDuffie.
So, yeah. I have a feeling he's going to be a Bear. That's my prediction. Is he's going to end up in Chicago.
Possibly.
I would like to see him in Detroit, though.
I wouldn't.
Be an interesting one. Next to
possible.
Aiden, bring him back home to the state of Michigan.
Got two polar bears rushing off the edge.
Nope. Terrible.
I think
terrible scenario.
I think.
Well, they did just clear $30 million in cap space.
Yeah, that I did say.
That is
Crosby question mark.
You did. Here's.
I think more teams could be interested because I think the guess is that it will be cheaper than it was the first time.
I don't know how much cheaper.
I think 3 out of 4 of us agree it will be cheaper.
Yes.
I think 2 firsts is completely off the table.
We'll see. We'll see how desperate teams are.
Definitely is.
Because desperate teams do desperate things. All right. There's 30 other teams that we could discuss. Cam.
Regardless, I'm going to tell you who the loser of free agency is right now. It's the Saints. I think you're overpaying for a lot of guys. I saw a tweet that came out, and the only one that comes to mind is ETN. You're in a prime spot for Jeremiah Love. You could have saved a $1 billion dollars, and you could have probably signed Devin Lloyd. You could have signed Devin Lloyd. Beef up your defense a little bit. Maybe go for one of the quarterbacks that I'm not a believer in Tyler Show,
Shuck.
whatever you want. Shuck.
Yep. It's not spelled like it.
But the Saints are not doing free agency right, in my mind, at the moment.
I don't know if they ever do.
But the ETN sign, or just did not make any sense to me in what way whatsoever.
If I told you they don't have a running back?
You could have drafted Love. Who are you going to draft in that?
I mean, who you can draft is still pretty open. I don't think you're drafting Love, though, to Cam's point. If you're paying a running back $13 million a year. Because the deal he got is 4 for 52.
What pick do the Saints have? Are they 6 or 8?
6. Should be 6.
It's like, yeah, I think that sounds right. 8. 6 is the Browns.
I don't know that Jeremiah Love, whatever his name is, gets past the Commanders at 7.
Jeremiah Love's going to go pretty high. He's. I saw rumors that he could go to the Titans, which I don't think is out of.
Media has talked about it. I think that would be a massive mistake, but they've at least talked about it. I think Giants, which also interesting. A lot of people expected them to be active in the running back free agent market, and they were not.
They were connected to Kenneth Walker a lot.
So, does that mean that they're good with Cam Scatterboo coming off an injury and whatever that?
What was his injury again?
Ankle, broken ankle, I think. And who was what's the other name?
Tracy?
No.
Oh.
Shoot.
It's not shoot.
It is not shoot. Does it start with a... Oh. Anyways, it's not a running back that you necessarily care about too much, so... I think if I was betting, I would consider placing a bet on Love to the Giants right now. Because people are like, I've seen so many tweets about like Scatterboo dynasty managers being like, how did we make it through this unscathed? I don't think you made it through unscathed just yet. So I would be, and the Commanders as well, right? Like they had a committee going on last year. Bill turned out to be a bum. So
I know, everybody thought
tragic.
Who's the Commanders' offensive coordinator now?
That's a good question.
Have they hired one?
David Blau.
I imagine they hired one. Oh, that's
the
right.
quarterback that played for Purdue?
Yeah.
And played for Detroit.
But either way, the Commanders have made some pretty decent free agency moves that allows you to take a pick like Love at 7.
They've handled free agency a lot better this year than last year. Like they got younger.
Yeah, last year they just signed the oldest players they could find.
So I'm going to touch on the Saints free agency class real quick since Cam mentioned that. So Travis Etienne for 4 year, $52 million. They signed Noah Fant to a 2-year deal. Guard David Edwards to a deal that will pay him up to $15 million per season. I don't see how many years. John Ridgway re-signing on a 2-year, $6.2 million. Caden Ellis to a 3-year, $33 million with $23 guaranteed. Julian Blackman re-signed on a 1-year deal, and then the punter Ryan Wright, 4-year, $14 million deal. It's just not
that
the
one
right
hurts.
way. I don't know. I don't care for it either. But the Saints are the Saints. Like, they're just a very blah team. They don't do.
I think it's fine. I don't. They're not.
It's not the worst, but
It's not great though for how much you're spending.
they also are finally out of cap hell.
Like, are
I
you
don't
are you
think they
gonna
have
be
anything counting heavily towards their cap though.
They just got out of cap hell.
Who's the highest paid? Who's the highest paid player on the team? Kamara.
Highest.
I mean,
Olave?
he's probably going to be on next year.
Yeah,
Olave
Kamara's done.
needs Olave needs an extension. They haven't extended him yet.
Ah, shoot.
What I'm saying, they just don't have anyone on the team right now that's taking up cap space. So you can do these kinds of moves, even if it does seem a little bit more expensive. It doesn't really matter that much.
Well,
they're
They
not
might
like
be.
they're not good signings to where like they're randomly going for it with Tyler Shuck, but it at least gives you a foundation.
Carl Granderson is counting for $18 million. Chris Olave, 15.4. It shows DeMario Davis, but DeMario Davis is now a Jet. Like, was he cut or was he?
I mean,
Saints
Saints
salary
might be in a 5-year rebuild at this point, and there might
NFL
be
rebuilds
finally.
will take 5 years.
They might be understanding that this is now the time to rebuild. Like,
So
you're
they're-
not keeping.
Sorry.
You're not keeping guys that are like 10 to $15 million caps.
They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that are making 10 million or have a cap number of 10 million or more. That's not bad. Chase Young is
That's
at
not a
9.
lot.
It's not. Chase Young at 9.6 million. Yeah, they're just an okay team. The Commanders, here are the oh god. Chigozium Okonkwo, the tight end. Chigozium. I butchered that. 3-year, $30 million, up to $30 million. Laramie Tunsil signed a 2-year extension worth 2 years, $60.2 million, including 52.5 fully guaranteed. Flavion Chasen? Crap. I always forget how to pronounce his name. 1 year, $12 million. Odafe Owe, 4-year, $100 million. Amik Robertson, 2 year, 16. Tim Settle, 3-year, 24. Leo Chanel, I like this. 3-year, 24 for Leo Chanel. And then Nick Cross, a 2-year deal worth up to 14. So they got some nice pieces, especially on defense. Amik Robertson is fine for depth. Chanel, Cross, Owe. They position themselves to take best player available, probably, when they're on the clock in the first round. To Drew's point.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought back Marcus Mariota, too. So, the GOAT.
It'll all depend on Daniels. That's what matters.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the other signings that come to mind. The Patriots stealing Elijah Vera Tucker pissed me off. The dude was always hurt
Tough.
for us. He was always hurt. Couldn't play a full season. Now he's never going to get hurt again. So it's a good deal for him. 3-year, 42, $20 million in guarantees. And the Patriots got a versatile offensive lineman. He was one of my favorite Jets, and now he can go F himself. Screw that guy.
Yeah, we almost got you a jersey for him.
Yeah. And
We chose Zach Wilson.
a lot of Jets fans were scared that, like, damn, we're really going to lose him to the crosstown rival New York Giants. What happens instead? An even deeper cut, going to the freaking Patriots. I'd rather him go to the Giants, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Patriots, bro. Aw, man. And then Reggie Gilliam, fullback, Toledo guy. He had to go from the Bills to the Patriots as well. That's a solid fullback too. He's one of the best fullbacks in the league. I'm not sure how I feel about Romeo Doubs signing a 4-year, $70 million deal with the Patriots.
Yeah, that one is all right. That's a solid wide receiver too, but you still need your guy.
Yeah, I don't think they have a guy yet.
I mean, they just made the Super Bowl with no guys, so
They had the easiest path to the Super Bowl, but yes, the point still stands. That's
Sure.
why they did make it to the Super Bowl. And then Kevin Byard, Draymond Jones also on defense for the Patriots. They're not spending as much as they did last year, but they also
Those are two
have to.
great pickups, though. Two massive pickups.
What do we think about DJ Moore to the Bills?
I think it's fantastic. I think you are getting the right in between of a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2. I honestly think the Bills have had one of the best free agency classes.
I don't mind it.
that was a
This year.
trade.
Or okay,
Well, I would still count trade towards free agency, especially they didn't resign. We're giving them an extension, but still, it's off.
I mean, you finally got Josh Allen a proven weapon. DJ Moore can make plays. He just showed that last year. You get Bradley Chubb. I haven't looked at really any of their other.
Nothing else really
Wiries.
stands out. They've re-signed a couple players like Dawson Knox, Connor McGovern.
But
Tyler
you're
Bass.
you're getting two premier players, and now you can build. Now you can look at the draft and see who you can get in a free agency. And if you want to make a trade, you are able to make a trade. You can probably trade away a third or fourth and get someone who needs to have a extension next year. Your Super Bowl window has reopened. It has. You have a weapon on offense, and you just
It was wide open last year, and they still missed.
that is correct. But now you have Joey Bosa, I think.
Nope.
Someone can fact check that.
Free agent.
You got Bradley Chubb, and you get another premier edge rusher in the first round. I do believe that the Bills are in a fantastic spot this year, and it'll depend on coaching and how good their current players will play.
I'm curious to see what Joe Brady's like in his first year, but overall, DJ Moore made a lot of sense for the Bills.
I mean,
But
I
they
like
do still
DJ
need
Moore to
another
the
weapon.
Bills, but yeah, I think they still got some work to do.
Yeah.
But then again, they've been right there for years,
They
so
couldn't beat Bo Nix.
just keep trying different things and see what happens. But
I guess.
DJ Moore is a good addition to the offense.
I mean, would it hurt them to bring back Keon Coleman? Didn't he get released?
It
Would
might
it hurt
him.
them? Probably.
It might hurt him.
He couldn't even get on the field.
Yeah, but now he's cheap. He's probably like a $4 million a year receiver.
He's
Or
a
you could-
freaking practice squad player now.
Yeah.
He's a vet minimum player.
Whoa, Cuppers, calm down.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't think
wants in the room.
I didn't think what Drew said was that outlandish.
And what the heck?
She was pretty pissed about that. Sorry.
What doesn't make sense to me is a lot of things. Where was it? Boye Mafe getting 3 years, $60 million from the Bengals, but you couldn't pay up for Trey Hendrickson. I'm not the biggest Boye Mafe fan. I think he's fine, but You couldn't pay up for Trey Hendrickson. That was meh. The Texans continuing to trade away offensive linemen was interesting start to the year. They did. Who'd they get? Braden Smith. They got an offensive lineman, but they also traded away Titus Howard.
Also,
They did
Scruggs.
re-sign Ed Ingram.
traded Scruggs. Isn't that who they traded to the Lions?
Who did they trade? Oh, they did trade a scrub to the Lion. It
No, not
was
Scrub. Scruggs.
Scruggs. Yes.
Maybe he's a scrub. I don't know.
He was an offensive lineman for the Texans. Kind of a scrub,
Probably a
but also like they need. Why aren't they more aggressive in free agency for a lineman? Maybe they
There
will
wasn't
be.
a ton of good linemen out there. I mean, Tyler Linderbaum was the best one, probably.
And the Raiders. Speaking of Tyler Linderbaum, we talked about Max Crosby. Him aside, I do kind of like what they've done. Tyler Linderbaum is going to be your stout up front. He's going to help keep Mendoza safe and protected. Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker just kind of getting the band back together at linebacker.
Naylor is a
Ron-
good acquisition.
Yes,
Unfortunately.
it's not a bad acquisition. Quiddy Pay, a deal worth up to $16 a year. That's not bad for an edge. They've done some work, and yeah, they've handed out a lot of money. And usually, when you hand out a lot of money, it doesn't work. But getting Linderbaum,
Well,
I
they're one
wanted
of
them
those
to get
teams.
ADP too, but they did.
I liked what they did in free agency, and obviously they did a lot of it thinking that Max Crosby was gone. So having him back changes the calculus a little bit, but I don't think they can't afford having Max Crosby
They can
because I saw like a lot of their signings were helping them reach the cap floor. Like they weren't even at the cap floor.
that's the
so
other thing. Like they need to be cap
I think they're
compliant.
solid.
They had to spend money, like the Jets. The Jets were in a spot where heading into free agency, there was fans like they're not going to spend any money. They literally had to spend money to get cap compliant, or they were going to be penalized next year. The Raiders were in that same spot.
Yeah, I like a lot what they did. A lot of what they did, and unfortunately, Nakobe Dean. Supposedly, the Cowboys also offered him about the same thing. He was about 50-50. Ended up choosing the Raiders. Tragic.
That's
But
that's
it
really
is what
tough.
it is.
Yeah.
It is tough. How you can choose the Raiders over the Cowboys, but whatever.
Who knows?
All the Eagles fans were happy, though, because he was obviously an Eagle before, and he chose to not go to the Cowboys, which, you know, if any of my Cowboys free agents did the same thing and chose to go somewhere else other than Philadelphia, I would be very happy. So
Yeah,
I can't say that I blame him, but
it's like the opposite
I
of
am
what happened
disappointed.
with AVT and the Patriots.
correct. Yeah.
Quite literally. Staying in the AFC West, though, one of my favorite signings was Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. I thought he was a really good fit for them. They're trying to obviously get back to the playoffs. It does take them out of the Julian Love sweepstakes, potentially in the draft. If he even would have made it there to 9, keeps that door open for them to possibly take a pass rusher or somebody else. But Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, joining Mahomes and Reed and Arrowhead, that's going to be a lot of fun offensively. And I thought he was going to go to the Giants. Like, I kept seeing that rumor, like he's going to be a Giant. They're heavily pursuing him. Quickly, the Chiefs were like, nope, he's ours. Now, if they would just add, like, Kenneth, like, the third, they don't add, like,
I saw
the
that.
junior or third or anything like that on their jerseys, which is a shame. But,
Isn't Patrick Mahomes a junior?
yeah, at
I
least. a
think
junior.
technically.
I think he's. Because he
Or is
should
he the
have
third?
something.
Anyways, yeah, I saw that. I mean, I think Walker's kind of cool.
He's a second.
By itself.
He's not. So he would be junior, but he's a second. He's Patrick Mahomes' a second.
I like that one. Skipping to a different West, NFC West. What are the Cardinals doing?
You tell me.
Nothing. Tanking. They're tanking. The rumors
who?
out there maybe a Malik. What do you mean for who? For anyone? For a quarterback?
Same thing the Jets are doing, bro.
Yeah. The rumors out there maybe Malik Willis, bring him in, familiarity with a LaFleur coach, but I think they did make an offer and he ended up choosing Miami. But after that, it's you go and sign Gardner Minshew, and then when I did my rebuild video, go check that out if you haven't already. For the Cardinals, I cut James Conner. I think they should have as well. Especially because they also signed Tyler Algier. I think Algier and James Conner are the same kind of player, and it makes zero sense to bring back James Conner and then sign Tyler Algier. And they still have a young Trey Benson who hasn't been very good, and he's coming off injury, but he's still young enough to where if you're going to bring back James Conner, you might as well give him another chance at the running back too. And they re-signed another one of their running backs, Bam Knight, who played for him last year. So I have no idea what they're doing.
I don't know if they know what
they had a couple offensive line signings, which are fine. They needed offensive line help. But overall, it's clear as day. This is just a tanking season. They're going to be so bad.
It's going to be unwatchable. And you can see why Malik Willis decided not to sign there. He instead signing with the Dolphins, and just the Dolphins are trying to bring Green Bay down south with the general manager, head coach, now the quarterback. Their big trio all coming from Green Bay, and I'm curious to see how that pans out. Yeah, the Cardinals, man. What the hell? The Jets are getting that first overall pick. You stay out of our way.
Cardinals versus Jets. Let's see what happens.
Cripple fight, man. Cripple fight till the finish.
It's gonna be tough to watch. It's gonna be tough to watch. Could be the Colts.
I'll touch on the Jets real quick. Geno Smith coming back home. He got the Seahawks to acquire Sam Darnold. The Vikings are not upset that they moved off from him. Now Darnold. I don't know why I said Vikings. I would try to make that transition, but I completely whiffed there. Raiders. Mendoza is about to be a Raider, thanks to Geno. Will the same fate happen to the Jets? Please. And I actually don't mind what the Jets have done in free agency. Outside of Geno, and the options available for the Jets were not good. They were not good options. You weren't getting a Malik Willis to come here, especially after paying Justin Fields last year. So moving or dropping back, 10 picks in the 6th and 7th round to get Geno to be your starter for next to nothing? Okay, fine. If you're going to go sign Carson Wentz, I'd rather you not. I'd rather, trade another 7th round pick for Andy Dalton, but whatever. Do not, for the love of God, do not draft Ty Simpson. Breece Hall receiving the franchise tag. What's the price?
1st round pick.
All right, you can. I want all my picks back.
Talent. Yes, give me all of the picks that we sent you for Quinnen. And you can have Joe Milton.
Dylan Parham was the guard signing that the Jets just did, and that was kind of my concern after the first day was you let AVT walk, you let John Simpson walk, you had a gaping hole at guard. What's the plan there? Because I don't want the Jets to be pigeonholed into having to draft a specific need like they did when they got jumped for Broderick Jones. Thank you, by the way. When they had to take Fashanu instead of Brock Bowers, and last year when they had to take Membu over Tyler Warren, which honestly, I'm happy with those 2 tackles, but still, you pigeonholed yourselves into needing offensive linemen. It's worked out, but I don't want that to be the case again this year, where you have to take the guard out of Penn State, and then somebody's going to jump you for that guard. So you did sign Dylan Parham. Cool. A couple defensive linemen. The Jets needed edge. They need defense. So Joseph Asai, Kingsley Engabari. I'm going to butcher some of these names. Cool. Some solid depth. Maybe they'll play a little bit, acquiring Devondre Sweat in a trade if he can get his weight down, stay in shape. He's going to be a good nose or run stuffer, especially as the Jets shift to a 3-4 defense. Bringing back DeMario Davis, I thought was huge just for some stability. Third time's a charm for him. Some stability on defense. A true leader. The Jets had no leaders on defense last year, especially after trading Quinnen Williams away. There's no leader. So Aaron Glenn gets his guy, his green sticker guy. Nashawn Wright, the deal that the Jets got him for, a 1 year, $5.5 million deal for a guy that can pick the ball off. That's not bad for a depth signing. That's going to compete for a starting job. Dane Belton, a solid safety addition. And then, of course, speaking of safety, before the day even kicked off, Minkah Fitzpatrick traded to the Jets. You have defensive players now in the secondary. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room for what you could do in the draft. And that's my biggest thing. Go into the draft, drafting best player available, and set the next coach up for a good 2027. I still ultimately think the Jets' win total for 2026 is probably going to be like 5.5, 6.5. Will probably be my guess.
Under.
The Jets, I would probably still take the under. With Geno, he's going to toss the pill. All right, he's going to target Garrett Wilson a lot. He's also going to throw a lot of interceptions. But you're not going to have a guy like Justin Fields last year where he was going 6 of 13 for 50 yards. You're not going to have that. It's going to be like 17 of 35 and 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. More exciting. I'll take that. And if we're bad, cool. It's a
at least
good,
be exciting.
At least be a normal bad team. The bar's low.
It can't be boring and bad.
Yeah, if
at
you're
least
be bad,
exciting and bad.
Thank you. Like the Raiders at times, or the Giants at times. Like, don't be both. At least 1 interception next year, please. Fingers crossed. I have no expectations for 2026. And I think I've made that pretty clear in the chat. I don't know how often I've made that clear here on the pod. My expectations for 2026 are low. Get me to 2027. Set us up for 2027. And I look at these contracts with the Jets, and there's not a lot lingering, not a lot of dead money in future years. You're not allocating a lot of dollars to big-time players. You're getting actual NFL talent, not guys that should be stashed on practice squads, playing meaningful snaps. It's a step in the right direction. The general manager's fighting for his job too. He's got to prove that he can build a team. He's doing okay, especially in the trades. I'm cool with the trades he's made. Minkah Fitzpatrick and Geno Smith for what they've costed him. Cool. The Jets have like 20 picks this year. Whatever. That's my Jets rant. I think it's an okay offseason for them.
And I'll do my quick Cowboys rant because they're making me upset. You start off with potentially going for it on Max Crosby. Doesn't work out. Offered a first and a second. I wouldn't have wanted them to give up 2 firsts. Whatever. He comes available, and then you give up again. I would at least have liked to see them kick the tires, see what the new price would be. But anyways, whatever. Trade for Rashawn Gary. That's fine. It ends up being a 4th-round pick in 2027. That's fine. I think maybe you probably could have got like a 5th or 6th instead. But anyways, I mean, I'm all for giving up later picks for known commodities. And I'm not saying Rashawn Gary's the best player in the world, but like he's decent. He didn't have a great year last year in Green Bay, but he's still not a terrible player. He can play in the league. So I think I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with that being your only move, is kind of what I'll be alluding to here in a second. Jalen Thompson, safety from the Cardinals. I think that is a good signing, especially because safety was a huge need for the Cowboys. And so they kind of started off pretty decent, right? Because it was, Crosby didn't work out, but whatever, you tried. You bring in Rashawn Gary, which I think was pretty decent. Jalen Thompson, and then I forget his name from the Broncos. Another safety, some more safety help. And after that, I'm like, all right, we're sitting pretty good. But then we're linebacker still a massive hole on the team. Massive hole in the team. You miss out on Nakobe Dean, who it sounds like a fair offer was made and he didn't choose you. All right, whatever. There was still other linebackers to be had. Devin Lloyd was out there. Quay Walker was out there. Quincy Williams. There was linebackers to be had, and they either didn't make good enough offers or didn't try or whatever it was. They couldn't get any of them. And so now you backed yourself into a hole where, barring a trade, which hasn't happened yet, and I don't know of any rumors other than Patrick Queen, which I'm glad fell through because Patrick Queen's a bum.
Patrick what?
Queen.
You said Patrick Cream.
Patrick Cream. Patrick Cream is terrible. New name. Just like Denzel Washington. Anyways, now you're back into a hole. Linebacker is a huge need, and you have to draft a player at that position. And that player ends up he has to be good. It cannot be a miss. It can't even be like an okay player. You have to draft a fantastic linebacker. Otherwise, you're in trouble again. And then, to pile it on, you make your defense tackle room worse by trading Osa Odigizua to a competitor in the NFC, the 49ers, which is just bad practice, for a third, which I think is cheap. I think you could have gotten more. Osa is a very underrated defensive tackle in the league if you look at advanced metrics, things like that. I understand that there's only so many spots to go there, with Quinnen and Kenny Clark and Osa, but we trade Osa and we trade Solomon Thomas. And so now defensive tackle is an issue because Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams cannot be on the field all the time. And so now you don't have anyone to come in behind them, really. And so you have made a massive hole to go alongside the hole that you refuse to fill at linebacker. So now they're in a spot where you have to draft linebacker. You have to draft defensive line. Alongside of you really still needed to add a corner. Probably maybe a premier safety if you can get one of them. There's quite a few premier safeties to be had in the draft that you could still add to the team. So it didn't make any sense. They started off pretty decent, and then as of late, unless they're cooking something that no one knows about, which I doubt, they have completely fumbled and lost the plot, and I have no idea what they're doing. So another year where you get some hope. You're like, oh wow, Jerry's moving different. Look at Jerry, he's going all in, and then Jerry does the same thing that he does every year and makes the team worse somehow. So not too happy. Not too happy.
Gladly take that. That first round draft pick for the Cowboys this year is going to be super nice. I'm going to be a big fan of that.
You could root for the Packers to be bad too.
Which is it? Was it decided which pick we have? You
get
you guys?
the best. You get the best of either of them, I believe.
Okay. Hey, look, I'll cheer for you guys both to suck, and then still.
Fair enough.
Just like the Colts, the Colts have not had a good offseason, in my opinion, either. They're another team that they've just done some questionable things. Like the deal they gave Alec Pierce, I get you're trying to keep a guy that he earned his money. He's going to be the highest paid receiver. But you gave up Michael Pittman to give Alec Pierce a 4-year, $114 million deal. You made him one of the highest paid receivers when he's a wide receiver. Is he a wide receiver 1? You're paying him wide receiver 1 money, but I don't know if he actually is.
I know a lot of people like him. I don't know if they like him that much.
He's a good wide receiver. I don't know if I'd build my wide receiver room around him, especially if you're letting go of Michael Pittman. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
That's going to be a bad contract. Thank you, Colts. Daniel Jones signing 2-year, $88 million, worth up to $100 million with incentives, $60 million guaranteed. Daniel Jones just continues to rob these teams. Has one good year, and he's like, you know what? I'm cash in.
Gotta respect
and
it.
Honestly, I respect it a lot. And you don't even know if
Kirk
Daniel
Cousins
Jones is
School of Finance.
Facts.
Fleecing.
My favorite thing about Kirk Cousins, so not to constantly bring the Jets up, but when he was negotiating with the Vikings, he had a camera crew follow him. I don't know how many people know or remember this. He had a camera crew follow him. And he said, like, on his whatever that he was recording, what's the Jets offer? Will they up it? Because the Vikings will essentially match whatever the Jets give them. So he was using the Jets to get a better deal from the Vikings. He was never going to play for the Jets. So whenever people mention, like, Kirk Cousins could possibly be the Jets, he used the Jets on camera.
Smart man.
Anyway, very smart.
Future Steeler, by the way.
No. It's going to be him or Kyler Murray.
That's what I've heard.
I don't hate it. That'd be interesting. Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers. Ooh.
That would be something.
Now we're cooking. I also would like to thank the Colts for bringing in former Jet players Michael Clemens, who is the worst football player I've ever actually watched. It's hilarious that he continues to get paid and people actually think he's decent. Derek Nottie, who was a defensive tackle for the Jets last year, who was cut. I don't even know if he made it through or to the initial 53. Colts are signing him. So thank you, Colts, for tanking. And then the Jets are going to have picks 1, 2, and 3 next year. We're going to get Arch Manning. We're going to get Jeremiah Smith. And then we're going to get the third best player in the draft.
That would be nuts.
That would be nuts.
No,
actually, in that scenario, what I would do is I would trade down for pick 3. And then acquire more picks. Because next year's class is supposed to be this amazing class.
That's what they always say.
I know. They always say the next year's class. They traded Zaire Franklin away for Colby Wooden. And I don't know how they're paying some of these players because they had, like, no cap space. When I did
they're one of those teams that are just like in purgatory. I mean, they're good enough to win, but they're not good enough to like make a playoff run. They're not bad enough to get a top 5 pick. They don't have enough cap space to go crazy. They will be bad
enough to get a top 5 pick next year. Knock on wood. Sauce Gardner. The gift that keeps on giving.
But I just the Colts are so boring to me. Their team is just so boring.
I think about this a lot. Like if I wasn't a Jets fan, what team would I be a fan of? I believe it'd be the Colts.
I don't know what team I would be a fan of. There are quite a few teams that I know I would not be a fan of, and the Colts are one of those.
See, when I started watching football and actually really getting into it, like the first year I remember watching the full season and loving was the year Andrew Luck got drafted. And Andrew Luck has been my favorite quarterback I've ever watched. So I feel like depending on how things would have worked out, I would have been a Colts fan just because of Andrew Luck.
So even in an alternate universe, you're really not that much better off.
No. I'd have a Super Bowl recently, in recent memory.
I mean, yeah, you would have been alive for one of them, at least.
Yeah.
So that is an improvement.
We take that. I'd be able to actually claim a Super Bowl, according to Cam.
It's true.
So, yeah, the Colts are pretty boring. Staying in that division, the Titans, they're just trying to combine the Jets and the Giants because they have Robert Saleh and Brian Dable. And it's like, you know what? These players got us fired from our previous team. Let's see if we mesh them together. What happens in Tennessee? Because they've gotten Wan'Dale Robinson, Jermaine Johnson, John Franklin Myers, really good trade or acquisition there for the Titans. Good for him. Solomon Thomas, Cordell Flott. Yeah, they're just acquiring former Giants and Jets left and right, trying to bring New York to Tennessee. It's a bold strategy.
I don't really hate what they've done, but I can see that point of view.
In theory, it could work. I mean, obviously, any of these could work out in theory, but it's just funny to me that it seems like everybody they're signing has Jets or Giants ties. Just interesting. Let me see some of these other free agency classes real quick. See if anything else stands out. As we're already
it's tragic that we didn't get to talk about Kyler to the Vikings today.
Actually, where's Cam?
He's been hiding.
Yeah, I know his mic's off. I want to hear some Vikings.
Mike's on mute. Dude,
speaking of Kyler, I did see a tweet. Tom Pelissero, 20 minutes ago, just spoke to Kyler Murray's agent Eric Burkhardt, who tells me, Tom Pelissero, Murray plans to Zoom tonight and tomorrow with executives from 3 to 5 teams that potentially have a QB need in 2027, a chance to reintroduce himself to people he hasn't seen since the 2019 draft and get a jump start on his free agent process a year from now. In the meantime, Murray and Burkhardt are flying to Minnesota tonight and plan to meet with the Vikings on Thursday. The Cardinals still owe Murray $36.8 million fully guaranteed, which is subject to offsets, so if all goes well, a 1-year minimum deal could come together quickly. So by this time tomorrow, Kyler Murray will be a Viking, and we will all be laughing in Cam's face.
There's no way there's 3 to 5 quarterback needy teams.
Well, that was like the 3 to 5 QB needy teams are potentially QB needy teams for 2027 is what that said. So he's looking at 1-year deal this year and then already planning ahead for 2027 is the way this sounded.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Plans to Zoom tonight and tomorrow with executives from 3 to 5 teams that potentially have a QB need in 2027.
Gotcha.
Get a jump start in his free agent process a year from now.
But I mean, it's the Vikings or the Steelers. I would have thought the Jets if you didn't trade for Geno. I think either, to be honest, for any of the teams, it's a quarterback. It's a veteran minimum for it. You know, he might not be a fantastic quarterback, but he's not that bad.
No.
And if you're paying him a couple $1 million, why wouldn't you?
Right, and if it pushes J.J. McCarthy at all, because obviously you spent the first-round draft pick on him, you still need to see if there's something salvageable. Because if not, if Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy don't work out, KOC's out of a job. They've already fired the general manager. They don't even have a general manager.
It's true.
We're talking about the Vikings, and Cam's cam is off and he's muted. I'd really like his input right now, but
it would be helpful, yeah.
Let's see. What else have they done in free agency? Because I know they let go of Harrison Smith.
They release or trade. Is it Hargrave?
I think they cut Hargrave. They re-signed or they revised Aaron Jones' contract, lowering his base salary.
Walk.
Yep. They re-signed Eric Wilson. They haven't brought in any outside free agents, it looks like.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's going to be Kyler Murray, man. Kyler Murray is going to save the Vikings.
Their one free agent signing for $2 million. Yeah, we'll see.
Cam. All right. So let's see if Cam revisits at some point. Tua to the Falcons, 2 lefties, 2 often injured, 1 potentially brain dead left-handed quarterback going to the
One with
Falcons.
brain damage, one with no legs.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing.
That's just hilarious that Tua still. That'll be interesting. Seahawks brought back a couple key pieces from their Super Bowl team. Rashid Shaheed. That was a great acquisition for them at the deadline. He had some huge moments for the Seahawks, and he got a 3-year, $51 million new contract from Seattle. Josh Jobe, 3-year, $24 million deal. And Jobe is what helped lead Tyreek Woolen to leaving and going to Philly. And Philly just continues to dish out 1-year deals. And I'll be honest, though, I do not have a lot of faith in Philly this year. I think everything is going to hit the fan with Philly. I don't know if A.J. Brown's going to be there. I think this is the last year of Hurt, Sirianni and company.
I hope so.
Do you?
Yes.
Because that means they could potentially upgrade.
They could. They could also potentially downgrade and be terrible forever.
Also true.
Because Sirianni and Hurts combination, as much as I hate on it and think they're fraudulent, whatever, they did get a Super Bowl out of it. So I would like them to suffer and be fired.
Suffer for winning a Super Bowl. That's crazy.
The Howie Magic has not been there this year. They signed Jordan Davis, but supposedly Jalen Carter's on the shopping block. AJ Brown doesn't want to be there, it seems. There was a lot of tension between the team revolving around Jalen Hurts towards the end of the season and AJ Brown. Their superstar, I guess probably a better word, but I'll go with superstar, offensive line coach retired. There was some rumors about why, and some rumors that some of the offensive linemen were going to follow. It didn't work out that way, but how much longer do they have after? I think the clock is ticking on this iteration of the Eagles. It would be hard, I would think, to save it, right? Because the relationships have soured. Players are moving on, or have lost interest in trying again. So I'm glad to see it. I don't think they'll be very. I don't think they're going to be bad by any means. I don't think they're going to be some dominant team in the NFL next year. So we'll see. But they didn't really do much in free agency. Obviously, Tariq Woolen for a year. Whatever. He was kind of burnt toast anyway. So
yeah, he hasn't been the same since his rookie year. He's had some moments, but he's very grabby. There's a reason.
I would have taken him as well in a 1-year deal, but
yeah, it was a fine deal for him.
It's fine.
Capitalize, won a ring, get some money, and start alongside Quinyanamo Bay and Cooper DeJean. But I do think things are going to go south quick. And if they don't win early, the fans in Philly are going to boo the living shit out of them.
Yep.
Did you see Jalen Hurts' book? Did you see any of that?
Yeah, what was it called?
It was ironic.
I forget what it's called.
Something about passing, I think.
Yeah, I saw the book, and I saw the tweet of, AJ Brown can do the funniest thing ever.
It's called Better Than a Touchdown, written by Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
So I was wrong about the passing part. But still. Speaking of passing, let's wrap this up. Mike Evans to the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. How did we let that go so long without me mentioning?
I know. Mike Evans to the 49ers could be good, but I do worry about the age and the health. And
in the substation.
Yeah. It's a lethal combination of
Substation
Yikes.
versus weak hamstring.
They also got Osei. How do you say his name? The 49ers.
Osa Odigizua.
Odigizua.
So now we don't have Osa and Otito. We just have Otito.
But the 49ers have Osa and Mike Evans. And
That's true.
It's going to be so weird seeing him outside of Tampa Bay. Like, that's going to be
he's still wearing red, you know.
That will help.
Red and gold instead of red and pewter, whatever the heck their color is.
You get used to seeing, at this point, different players moving from team to team. Mike Evans was just one I always thought would be in Tampa.
To be honest with you, I feel different.
Do you?
I am not as shocked by Mike Evans moving.
I'm not shocked. It's just shocking to see that actually happen. It's one of those where it's like, I think it's
once you're on a team for so long, very rarely do players just last their whole career on one team and then retire with them.
But he was one of those that I thought
always I don't know that he, and this kind of came out because the Bucks did make, a good case to bring him back. I don't know that he's a Todd Bowles and possibly even Baker Mayfield fan.
I'm starting to suspect that too. And I don't know if many people are, because you look at who the Buccaneers have not been able to bring in. The Buccaneers aren't attractive. The Panthers are more attractive than the Buccaneers right now. Like, the Panthers are able to bring in guys like Devin Lloyd, Jalen Phillips, Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl winning quarterback Kenny Pickett.
It's true.
And the Buccaneers have Alex Anzalone, an old linebacker.
I just think Mike Evans is, a wide receiver where he's going to be known for his Tampa days, of course. Obviously, been there a long time. Super cool, but he's at that point in his career where now it's like, oh, remember when Mike Evans played for the Niners at the end of his career? It's just that
Jerry Rice and the Raiders.
Exactly, it's that stage of his career. Yeah. So it will be different, obviously, but it's something that was probably always likely to happen.
Right. The Bears bulked up their defense with Devin Bush, re-signing DeMarco Jackson, bringing in Kobe Bryant from the Super Bowl winning Seahawks. I'm just going through, seeing if there's anything else that catches my eye. Chargers. Cool, they brought in Charlie Kohler, the third best tight end on the Ravens. And Cole Strange.
Chargers haven't done much.
No, it's uneventful. Scrolling. Broncos not really doing much of anything. They did re-sign JK, though. Cam,
a lot of Broncos fans were chirping that. I don't know if you saw that at all.
Were they? Not a big fan of that?
JK was kind of chirping back, yeah.
Let JK make his money, man. Like, he's been through a lot. Steelers, Michael Pittman, good trade for them. I'll give him credit there. Rico Dowdle, I don't mind that signing. I know a lot of Caleb Johnson dynasty owners are pretty upset about that.
Yeah. They should just trade him.
Yeah. They should, actually.
Jamel Dean, is that his first name? Jamel?
Yes. Jamel Dean's not a bad signing.
Solid.
Darnell Savage. Browns got a couple linemen: Titus Howard, Tevin Jenkins, Zion Johnson, Elgton Jenkins, and Quincy Williams, Quinnen's brother.
I really thought he was going to be a Cowboy.
See, I did too. I actually kind of thought that we were going to include him in the Quinnen trade. Like, I thought that.
I think they should have. And I thought, okay, then it's almost a guaranteed free agency signing.
Right. It should have been. I like them together in New York. It's not like Giannis and his brother, where Giannis's brother is really only in the NBA because of Giannis. Like, Quincy's actually a good linebacker. He was an All-Pro.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. He's not that guy
I could see where like they kind of want to separate themselves, make a name for themselves individually. But
yeah.
I mean, you can still, you're playing different positions. You can still.
Yeah,
the
they
same
seem
game.
to have fun. And I mean, obviously, I'm not in the building. I'm not with them. Like, this is just from afar. But it looked like they enjoy playing together. And I was surprised that they aren't anymore. Like,
It's one of those things that makes me feel like the Cowboys just did not try that
right?
hard
Like,
at
maybe the
some of these
Cowboys just
linebackers.
do not like Quinnen or Quincy. They like Quinnen enough to give the Jets
Better than what we got. Better than what we got.
All right. That's probably well over an hour, so and I think we're just kind of running on fumes at this point. Any final thoughts before we wrap?
Just another year of disappointment.
Hey, welcome to the NFL.
Not for everyone. Some people are fans of good teams. I wouldn't know what that's
What's that like? Please.
Couldn't tell you.
Drew.
Couldn't tell you.
Drew said the other day. No.
Me?
What was it in the chat? I said, "What's another 2 years?" or something like that. No, you said, "What's it feel like knowing that you're not going to be relevant and have nothing to cheer for for another 2 years?" I said, "All right. What's another 2 years to the 15-year playoff drought?" Oh, big scary.
It's a long time, man.
Bring it.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. At least we can say that we have a playoff win more recently than the Dolphins, and we've made it to a championship game more recently than the Cowboys. So, have that. In the meantime, thank you everybody for joining us here on this free agency hodgepodge episode where we just kind of talked about different free agents. Moving forward, expect a lot of draft content. There'll probably be some team-specific stuff as more acquisitions. If there's any big trades, I'm sure we'll hop on and do some stuff. But moving forward between now and the end of April, early May, this is almost going to be essentially a draft podcast. So if you're into that, stay tuned. Like, subscribe to the channel. Tell people that you know that like sports as we do and draft content as much as we do to like and subscribe to the channel as well. We're constantly churning out content on TikTok, our YouTube shorts. I'm not the greatest at putting some of those up on TikTok or on Twitter. But I do share our podcast on Twitter, so make sure you're following anywhere and everywhere. Oh, that Party Chat Sports. Until next time, peace.
Good night, Sleepy Cam.
And by the time you watch